Let me be honest with you. When
Wow.
most migrants are struggling in their workplace, it's not because they are incompetent. It's mainly they did not understand how the workplace and the work culture works. Is this familiar to you? If you are a migrant professional who's currently working in the UK, this video is for you. I'm not blaming employer about this. At the same time, I'm not blaming you as a migrant about this as well. Let's try to understand what really matters in here. For me, it's more about understanding culture. I had a similar experience when I was moving to Africa in 2018. Two different work cultures, two different expectations, two different understanding about the scenario. One thing I wish someone told me earlier that UK work culture has so many unspoken rules. There's no one sitting down with you and explaining you about these expectations and certain cultural elements in the UK workspace. UK workplaces has a lot of unspoken rules. People are just expecting you to pick it up, which is not going to happen automatically unless otherwise you have a deep understanding about what they're expecting. For an example, when to speak, when to stay quiet, or else how to disagree politely, how to say no when needed. You are expected just to know it all. I don't think that's fair for any of the migrants. At the same time, employers are not aware about this situation as well because most of the employers does not have experience working with a lot of diversified workforces. UK communication style is polite. Sometimes it's too polite. People are polite. That doesn't mean they agree with you. For an example, if someone says, let's think about it, well, that's really interesting, that doesn't mean they agreed with you. It's mainly one or the other way of saying that they need to have a bit more information about it or they need to think it over. And it's often mean no in a polite way. Many migrants take these words literally. In the UK, silence is often treated as everything is okay. But in our work culture, it's completely different because our managers used to give us feedbacks and they used to give us continuous feedbacks. Sometimes it's too much and sometimes it is involved with the micromanagement. But in the UK, it's a little bit different. In the UK, if no one says anything about it, most of the times that means everything is okay. This can feel a little bit odd to you, but it's very normal in UK work culture. One of the biggest shock I had after I moved to the UK is disagreement is actually allowed and expected. And I'm sure this one shock for most of you as well. In the UK, you are allowed to disagree and even with your manager, and they're expecting you to disagree to the things that you can't actually agree with, or else if you are expecting to do it in a different way, they're totally okay with that. Their expectation is end of the day that you have complete the task, but the way you do it is matters. For an example, you can't say this is wrong. That's not the polite way to do that. There are some other ways to communicate your disagreement with your manager or else with your colleague. You can say like, I see it slightly differently, or else can we look at another option? Something like that. So you don't directly disagree with them and you will go with some other way, trying to reduce or the diffuse the situation and trying some other options with them. In the UK, it's not about winning. It's more about being respectful for others. Remember, in the UK, workplace is really friendly, but not personal. People will smile, chat, and be kind to one another, but still they will keep their personal life separately. They don't want to bring it to their work life. But in most of the time in Asia or the African context or back in home, you tend to talk about all your personal stuff, your grievances and everything with your colleagues. But in UK, most of the time they try to keep their personal life separate from the work life. That doesn't mean they don't like you. That's just the culture. They just want to keep their personal life and professional life separately. The other thing is, informal chats matters more than you think. A lot of things happen out of the meeting room. Quick chat, coffee breaks, or a small talks matters. Therefore, try to be included with all these small chats and everything. Try not to be isolated. Remember, as we discussed in our previous meeting, communication might play a huge role in here. So if you think that being professional means being silent, or if you are not confident about your communication and try to being isolated or avoid these discussions or these chats, that means you will be automatically isolated. You will be not involved with any of the decision making or any of these discussions, that is impacting your progression. At the same time, that is impacting your relationship with your colleagues and your manager. It's not politics. That's how information flows. In the UK, hierarchy exists, but it's more of a hidden thing. But back in the days, or back in your home, it's more about visible hierarchy. You do have your stratas, and then you do have certain level of responsibilities and certain level of respects to these hierarchies. But in the UK, everyone treat equally, but hierarchy does exist. UK workplaces are looks flat, and people tend to call their managers by their first name basis. But hierarchies still exists, and it's more subtle. Some people actually does have more influence than their job title says. So sometimes their job title might be a team leader or just a supervisor, but they might have very big influential in the system, or that means their hidden hierarchy, their position is much more valuable. Understanding this might takes time, but sooner you understand, that will help you. In UK, being calm is very much important. You shouldn't be rude to anyone in UK work culture. Even when you disagree, you have to be calm and content when you are showing your disagreement, or else when you're sharing your disagreement with your colleagues and your team leader. Even when you're frustrated, strong emotions can make feel uncomfortable at work. That doesn't mean you are wrong. That it's just the culture. Remember, being professional doesn't mean being invisible. This we have discussed in our previous video as well. Some migrants tend to think being professional means stay quiet and just do the job. That's not the right way to being survive, or that's not the right way to do your job in the UK. In the UK, professionalism means being clear and visible. Not loud, not aggressive, just be clear. Why do you think this might be feel hard for migrants? Most of us were taught work hard, being respectful for the hierarchy. Just don't talk about yourself too much. UK workplace rewards different behaviors. No one explains that part as well. Remember, if you are feeling that you are struggling in the UK work culture, that doesn't mean you are failing. That means you are still learning work culture, and learning takes time. If you are a migrant and this is familiar to you, you are not alone. I'll keep sharing simple, honest explanation about UK work culture, which will help you to improve yourself. Follow us if you want to know more of it.